Hey folks, good afternoon. Welcome to Wednesday's Market SITREP, or Situation Report here at Top Gun Options. My name is Matthew Buckley. My call sign is Wiz. Heading down to Miami here in a little bit to give a keynote this afternoon. So we're going to knock out our SITREP real quick. We had a great accelerator retirement session this afternoon, or actually, I'm sorry, at 10 a.m. this morning. Usually have it in the afternoon. Talking about the Russell hovering around, the Russell 2000 hovering around correction territory, the S&P 500 being pulled back to this magnet, this 200-day moving average on kind of just trade war malaise. Everybody is, it was expected to be this awesome, huge trade deal, and in my opinion, it's going to turn out to be a nothing burger, and we're going to sell on the news, in my opinion. Let's get strategic real quick. Pakistan and India are still poking each other back and forth, folks. Last week, Pakistan shot down an Indian MiG-21. Pilot ejected, landed on the Pakistani side, was captured, but was returned to Indian forces. India is claiming that it shot down an S-16, a Pakistani S-16. Why am I whispering? Well, guess what? Pakistan is denying it, and the United States is raising a hairy eyebrow and say, hey, do us a favor and please account for all of your F-16s. Why? They signed a letter of agreement, folks. It's hey, if you buy some S-16s from the United States, you ain't going to use it in offensive combat operations against India. Indian TV is showing pictures of an AMRAAM and AIM-120 Charlie, the variant only allowed to be sold to Pakistan because it ain't got all of our secret squirrel shit in it, and we haven't heard from Pakistan. So very interesting. You have to keep an eye on this, folks. This is a potential black swan moment. Last time these two really punched the hell out of each other was in 1971 when they didn't have nukes. Now they got nukes. So keep this on the back burner there. Also heard from a couple of my friends in a big five-sided building up in the Northeast where they wear uniforms that North Korea is showing a lot of activity at one of its missile launch test sites. Is it going to turn back into Little Rocket Man versus Trump? We'll see. Remember, folks, the president went from saying, I'm going to rain fire and fury down on these people and this guy. I'm going to vaporize 25 million people to this guy's a good friend of mine, the dear great leader, and kissing his ass. So keep an eye on North Korea starting to flare up again. Beijing having their annual Congress, their kind of show Congress, dropping their contentious Made in China 25 slogan. The policy is going to remain, but China's, and they downgraded their GDP growth to 6 to 6.5%. They actually gave a range instead of like a target, and shockingly, they used to hit that target right on time and on target. When you dictate economic policy at the end of a bayonet, it's pretty surprising how often you hit it. Well, now they know the world's watching and they ain't doing so good, so they're kind of they're not being able to hit the ball over the net, so they're going to lower the net. This is another reason why they might just sign any deal. You know why? Because they're not going to live up to it. Yesterday afternoon, the Wall Street Journal came out with a report that said Chinese hackers are targeting universities, stealing what? Their maritime military secrets. University of Hawaii, Washington, MIT. Why? This is the think tank, folks, where they make Gucci top secret DoD submarine stuff. Anti-ship missiles, unmanned aerial vehicles from a submerged submarine, launching UAVs from and drone submarines and submarine or torpedo farms where they just kind of build these strategic torpedo farms off the coast of the United States that are just robots sitting there forever, and if they push a button, anytime a submarine sails by, they shoot it down. Guess what? This is all top secret squirrel stuff, and the Chinese are stealing it. Does anybody listening to my voice and watching this brief believe that China's going to live up to anything they agree to do? Of course they're not. So that's why we're in trouble here. We actually posted a annual trade deficit today. It came out. The shortfall grew last year despite President Trump's aim to reduce it. So stocks, folks, moving lower. Investors are weighing an update on trade and looking ahead to the Friday's job report. Atlanta Fed came out the other day, folks, with a first quarter GDP growth of 0.3%. That's Obama GDP, folks. And no, that isn't backwards. That isn't 3.0%. It's 3%. So seeing a little bit of economic brown shoots starting to rear their ugly head here. Fed's Rosengren, one of the Fed lieutenants, said a pause in the rate increases is justified. So the Fed's dead, baby. Just like in Pulp Fiction, it's a chopper, baby. Whose chopper is it? Zed. Who's Zed? Zed's dead, baby. The Fed is dead right now, ladies and gentlemen. So what is the catalyst to drive this market higher? There really isn't too much. We also, check this out, folks. We covered a bearish trade on CME. CME Group is imploding here. The SEC is coming out with more regulations, but more importantly, there are more exchanges. There's a Miami stock exchange that's going to launch, and a MEMEX. The MEMEX plans to launch a new low-cost exchange. So all these old stodgy exchanges, folks, the NASDAQ, the Dow, they're United and American. Here comes JetBlue and Southwest, these low-cost exchanges, and CME is getting hammered. So we covered an at-the-money bear call spread, and that one's looking pretty good. I don't know if I got filled on that. We'll talk about that. CME, yeah, filled on that bear call spread. The other day when CME started to implode, I said, hey, do a bearish double vertical. And I have some private clients that are up about $10,000 in 3 days on a bearish double vertical on CME. And got Amy, Steve, if we don't talk today because of my Miami speech, I'd close those and take the 10 grand and run. Here is the indicator that the market is getting ready to roll over and implode. Suits and ties are not optional at Goldman Sachs. What? That sounds stupid, Wiz. It is not. It is fact. Every time Goldman Sachs in the past, the 2000 dot-com bubble, the financial crisis, whenever Goldman Sachs gets khaki pants, polo shirts, or kind of casual, the market implodes. And guess what happens when the market implodes? The old people at Goldman Sachs go, we're done. You're showing up tomorrow in coats and ties. Enough of this crap. You might be chuckling at this. It is a fact. Follow it. The Goldman Sachs dress code indicator. I'm shocked that they're doing this. They did this, I know, talking to some folks at GSAM, Goldman Sachs Asset Management, they're doing this because, well, they're Gen Xers and they're all a little bit more casual. I'm telling you, folks, if the market implodes or Goldman Sachs stock implodes, they will be wearing a coat and tie again. Believe me, look it up. It's funny as shit. It is the truth. All right, guys, I got to get going because I got to hop on the road from Fort Lauderdale here down to Miami. And even in a beautiful day like today, little old lady in tennis shoes flips her car. It's a 8-hour traffic jam, so I got to get going. We're going to do Analyze Your Trade tomorrow at 1 o'clock. And then our full throttle session tomorrow night, I think, is long call diagonals and synthetic stocks. So starting to get into some real interesting information in our full throttle training. Yesterday, folks, in I think it was with Tiger Shark Trading, I did a webinar. I was a special guest speaker. I talked about getting a hedge on SDS. I talked about putting a bullish double vertical on SDS, which goes up as the market goes down. SDS is up almost a full percentage point today, so that trade is looking great. Get your hedges on, folks. It's just not a cute little sign-off on my tagline here. Happy hunting, and make sure you hedge. Make sure you hedge, folks, because this is a binary market right now. We're either going to implode or explode, and what's the catalyst that's going to drive that? The trade deal. And if I'm a 0.9 delta, folks, that we're heading lower, okay? So make sure you stick here with me at Top Gun Options for updates. Have a great rest of your day. Happy hunting. Make sure you hedge, and God bless. I'll talk to you tomorrow. We'll see you.